All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Africa's finest breakfast show, Newday, on People's Television. You find us on channel 120 on the Star Times decoder. And my name remains Anthony Momodo. We've got in the live studios the Project Pink Blue Executive Director in the person of Ronti Chidebe in the studio. Good morning. Nice to have you, Ronti.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Right, let's look at cancer, especially fighting cancer. It's how difficult has it been, especially in Nigeria, applying global standards? Would you say Nigeria has done well? Remember the cancer center that was built by was that Basenjo, Yaradua's wife. But since they exited power, not much has been heard about that cancer center. We only know some few organizations into battling of cancer.
Yeah.
Just take us through what the challenges have been.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, thank you so much for this platform to come and discuss this very important non-communicable disease that is really, taking a sweep, to the lives of so many Nigerians at their prime, when they are more important to us than ever, I mean, I'm not trying to say that every point in anybody's life they are not important, but imagine all the great people we've lost to cancer. We lost them at the peak of their career, Imagine Professor Dora Akunyele, imagine Remi Oyo, how the former SSA to the president and also the executive director of NAN, So many other people that we've lost. And it's more increasing. Cancer is increasing by the day. As we speak now, over 72,000 people die of cancer every different forms of cancer. And it's bound to even increase more because about 102,000 people are diagnosed of cancer every year in the country.
Oh.
Yes. Then when you talk about what is the state of cancer, Nigeria is not doing well in cancer care, just as we're not doing well in health in general. Yeah, because if you look at it, for a country over 180 million people, we have very few health institutions that can provide comprehensive care to cancer care. Let's also talk about the center. That's the International Cancer Center that was built by Hajia Toure. That's the former
First Lady
of Yaradua. So the issue about that center is a lot of people haven't been able to understand clearly
the mandate of the center.
Yeah, exactly. Or to distinct, to try to understand that center is not owned by the government.
Okay.
So many people think it's a federal government project. It is not.
Is it functioning?
It's not. Nothing is there. Nothing is there. There's nothing there. It's just an empty building. Maybe a few office equipment or a few machines, but nothing is happening there. You understand? But that is a pet project. That is the project of the woman herself. It's her own pet project.
Sorry to jump in. When you say it's her own pet project, then what monies did she use to fund that project?
Okay.
Is it not federal government money?
Okay, so when you talk about the money she used to fund the project, I may not be in the right position to tell you 100% the money she used to fund the project,
it's
but
not for government. That is why.
no, I said it's not owned by the government.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's her own personal project. If you go to the website of the organization, International Cancer Center, you will see that it's clearly written. You will see the board of directors. You understand? You will never see anywhere said that this is a project by the Federal Ministry of Health, this is a project by the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it's our own project, just the same way you have so many first ladies across the country doing a lot of other work. But I think that our role, both as the media, both as civil society, is to engage her. In as much as we know that, okay, this project was a personal project, but there is a need to revive this project, to revive this initiative. I think, I've met her a couple of times. She did it with very strong passion. So many people made donation. Dangote, so many people made huge donation to that project. You understand? But when she left the office, we wouldn't really know what exactly may have happened, whether people who made those donations actually paid back or they did not, or whether maybe there are some other challenges she's having in getting that center working. But I think that she really have to do Nigeria good to ensure that center comes back to life. Because the vision of that center should be a center of excellence for all sort of cancer in Nigeria. But it's not working. So I'm really happy you asked that question, because it's also very important to see how we can revive that center. Either the government can also reach out to her and probably build a public-private partnership, or maybe some organizations, or maybe can see how that center can be revived, because it will really save a lot of souls.
All right, as the executive director of Project Pink Blue, what projects, what part or kind of cancer have you focused on? Are we looking at the breast cancer, which over 20 million or plus women we know suffer from it and in a year die from it? Which areas have you focused on, and what has been the challenges faced across the country?
Yeah. So you see, like today when I was coming out, I just said to myself, I'm not going to wear a pink tie.
Okay.
I'm just going to come out with a blue tie. Because most times in the country, once you hear anything about cancer, the whole mindset of everyone that you're talking to just revolves around women. So everybody just assumes that
there's prostate cancer, which is eating almost
exactly,
every man.
So once you say cancer, the next thing that comes to anybody's mind, it's a women's disease. So women just exclude ourselves. But the truth is that there are different forms of cancer that affect men.
Okay.
You understand? We have prostate cancer, and
Very
it's
common.
really dealing with a lot of men across the country. But because so many men will always have this and they will hold it to themselves, you won't even know. You have colorectal cancer that also deal with it. A lot of men are also battling with it. So for us as an organization, we focus on breast cancer, cervical cancer, prostate, and colorectal, and we're trying to also do a lot of work in the area of lung cancer.
Okay. What has been the challenge dealing with this across the nation? What areas do you have challenges?
So the challenge for me has always been in three ways. One, awareness. So many people don't know what cancer is. People just know that cancer is just that killer disease that when you just have it, you die. It's such a shame. Number two, is finance. Not many Nigerians can afford cancer treatment. I'm just telling you from the perspective of someone who have been working with patients. Close to 90% of patients that we come across with, all of them need some form of financial support.
What's the average cost implication to deal with a cancer? Let's, for example, cervical or prostate cancer, for instance, for both sex. So
Okay. So it's dependent on the stage, it's dependent on the type of cancer. But most times, some cancer could cost like close to 3 million and above. Yes. And I know of a patient who had a form of breast cancer, which is known as HER2 positive. We raised close to 15 million for her as an organization for her treatment. Because that particular drug that she needs is a hormonal therapy drug, and she really, really have to spend a lot from it. So many people can't afford it. And that's why we're really doing a lot of work to advocate for national health insurance to really cover cancer. At least at some point that can help to alleviate some pain. At least maybe bone scan or, some basic things that can help to reduce the pain, So then the third one is the third challenge in cancer treatment in Nigeria and care in Nigeria is the medical facilities. The medical facilities are not sufficient at all. As I speak to you now, go to National Hospital or go to some of the functional radiotherapy centers. You see a lineup of people who are waiting to get radiotherapy treatment. So there is a need for federal government to make cancer a national health priority, to see how we can protect our people so people can get care, so that Nigerians can stop traveling from Nigeria to Ghana or to Kenya, to South Africa or to India to receive medical care. We're losing a lot of money by allowing that to happen. So even private sectors, people should come in and invest in healthcare. If you go to other part of the world, for instance, the US, healthcare is big business. Big business. So you see big men like Dangote and all the rest in the US, investing in health. Because when you have a healthy population, your economy will boom. What we are battling today in the country is that so many people are not healthy. And when people are not healthy, they cannot give you optimum productivity.
Now, when you look at cancer, a doctor once said in layman's term that cancer is when a particular tissue decides to misbehave and not align with the rest of the tissues and all that.
Yeah.
And so many theories have come up. If you look at the social media, you listen to what other health experts say.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say if you take ginger consistently for a certain period of time, it will help in healing cancer. So many other natural herbs that you could take and it could also help. So could it be that probably from the aspect of business, most of these health sectors do not want to preach that, so they can continue to administer drugs and still make money through that aspect? Is it possible to look at it from that angle rather than concentrate or throw more light on the natural aspect of trying to heal or manage cancer?
Yeah. Okay, I have to really be very, very frank to you now. You see, one thing so many people haven't been able to understand is there is a difference between complementary care and curative care. So when you see stuffs like people tell you about alkaline water, people tell you about ginger, people tell you about pawpaw leaf, people tell you about all sort of herbs and medicine, they are all very good. Doctors will also tell you they are all very good, but they cannot cure. They can only help to build your immune system, strengthen your system, because these are good vegetables. These are very, very good. And don't forget, cancer is a lifestyle disease. Those misfiring or those abnormalities in the DNA, in the cells, were caused by some lifestyle change or some misfunctions in the DNA, just as we said in the layman way. So those kind of supplements can help to probably build it, but it cannot help, or it cannot, shrink that cancerous tumor or kill that cancerous tumor. What it can only do is to hold it under check or do some other stuff. But invasive therapies like chemotherapy, like radiotherapy, that has been verified through clinical trials by medicine, which the Federal Ministry of Health stands for, because that is the greatest apex of care that we all respect.
But they say chemotherapy also has its downside.
No, of course. Of course, you need to understand that even medicine, even paracetamol itself, all of them have some side effects. You understand? So even just as chemotherapy have a side effect, the reason why it has side effect is that it's an invasive therapy that is coming to attack something. So in the process of attacking something, it might also affect other things. But afterwards, your system come back to its 100% state. Let me give you an example. A woman lose her hair after chemotherapy, right? Even lose their hair, their nails turn to black and all the rest. But it takes time. It comes back. The hair start growing. The nails come back to life. Some of them could even, have some dysfunction, like add weight and all sort of stuff. Why? Because something strange had been put into your body. You understand? Just the same way some people, my mom take aspirin, her eyes will swell up. But after some time, and that's why she stopped taking aspirin. Even we all also stopped taking aspirin. So different drugs and different medicine have their own side effects. Some people take some stuff and they start purging them. So that's the same way. But when you see our people on social media and everywhere, they all preach all sort of things, say cancer is fabricated. It's the same way people say that HIV was fabricated. Did you hear that long time ago? But is this still happening now? Nobody's talking about it again, because now people have become more aware. People have known that you can prevent this by doing this, you can prevent it by doing this. So the same thing, I believe, will happen with cancer. When people are now more aware, when people exercise more to know that obesity and overweight is linked to 13 types of cancer. You understand? And when people begin to know that, the more you eat more fruit and vegetable, you actually reduce your risk of cancer. When people begin to know that if you stay away from cigarettes, that you reduce your risk of having lung cancer, that's when you realize that people will no longer be talking about all those, ginger and all. But I'm not saying they are bad. They are good, but they cannot kill.
All right, you made mention of the fact that depending on the stages of the
Yeah.
cancer, that determines the cost implication of treatment.
Yeah.
What would be your advice in terms of when should people go for checkups, and what are symptoms we can look out for
Yeah.
to begin to raise the red flag?
Yeah. We see one challenge that I've discovered in Nigeria is that we don't go to the hospital except we are carried to the hospital. And that's the greatest problem we have in our healthcare. So people present to doctors at very late stage, at very, very critical stage of disease. So at those level, practically, it's really very, very late that it's just palliative care. So for people who did the cancer, staging, we have the stage 1, you have the stage 2, you have stage 3, and you have stage 4. So stage 1, are early cancer. Stage 2 are early cancers as well. But stage 3 is usually not late, early. Stage 4, not early. So what it means is that stage 1, the cancer, if it's a breast cancer or if it's a cancer of the shoulder, is still around the shoulder. It hasn't moved to any distant region.
Okay.
Yeah, but once it's stage 3, it means that maybe the cancer have moved from the breast to the leg, or from the leg to the brain, or to the lung, or to the liver. I don't know if I'm, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so if that cancer has progressed, which is at stage 3, at stage 4,
Malignant.
exactly, it becomes metastasis, what the Igbo people call metastasis. That's the spread, the cancer has spread from a particular region to another region. At that level, it's so difficult to treat or to cure, because you will now be trying to treat the cancer of the breast or the cancer of the cervix,
Okay.
and you are also trying to battle to also treat the one in the
Are there
brain.
early signs people can see to begin to say, okay, I think there's something wrong?
Yes, yes, there are some signs for some cancers. For instance, for like breast cancer, there are early signs. For cervical cancer, it has
Right.
no symptoms.
Okay.
People may not know they have cervical cancer
Okay.
until it's at a very late stage. And that's why it's very important. We are urging our women, and we as NGO, we're also advocating for government to make it mandatory that once any woman comes to any PHC,
Okay.
she must be subjected to doing, either a pap smear
A
or
pap
visual
smear,
inspection
okay.
with acetic acid.
Okay.
By that way, we can catch up cervical cancer early, because it's really painless.
You mentioned 13 kinds of cancer.
Yeah.
So for both men and women,
Yeah.
what are the probably the first 3 killer cancers on both sides?
Okay, so for women, number 1 is breast cancer. For women again is cervical cancer. Yeah, and then number 3 for men, number 1 for men is prostate cancer. Then number 2 for men, which is still dangling, is colorectal.
Okay.
Colorectal cancer. And colon cancer, so you see a lot of people, they go to toilet, they stool blood, and they really think that they have ulcer or something. So it's very important when you see such kind of symptoms, they should just get themselves checked or go get a colonoscopy or see a urologist. Yeah, then dangling between all these others are other forms of cancer, like liver cancer is really getting higher in Nigeria. You know why? Hepatitis B is associated. Hepatitis is associated with liver cancer. So high viral load of hepatitis leads to liver cirrhosis, which is liver cancer.
Is there a time frame for the questions you asked, this killer top 3? What's the time frame?
When you say the time frame, you
As
mean
in that it can kill. How long does it take for?
Well, because human bodies are different.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
human
in the
bodies are
average.
different. Yeah,
On the
so
average.
I really can't say, because there are people who have actually had breast cancer, late breast cancer, stage 4 breast cancer, and they have lived for 10 years,
Yes,
7
okay.
years with the
All right.
disease and still.
Okay, the final question before I let you go. I would
Yeah.
like to know, looking at the fact that you work with international organizations,
Yeah.
you made mention of the fact that we have less equipment in Nigeria to
Mm.
tackle this menace. Are you saying this international organization do not give you funds, do not help in terms of equipment in order to fight this menace?
Yeah, you see, so you are correct. This is a very, very important question. So in the past, What we have in the Federal Ministry of Health is just a desk.
Okay.
It's called the National Cancer Control Program,
Correct.
which is just a desk, an office that is under the Department of Hospital Services. And that desk will not have the capacity to, mobilize funds on its own,
Okay.
to advocate, to do a lot of other work internationally, because it's under it's under So, but recently we have been pushing a lot of advocacy. I remember in 2016, the current Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adeole, was in our World Cancer Day event, which is coming up, on Saturday at Transcorp Hilton, and the minister was there, and he made it clear in his advocacy that there is a need to have a national agency on cancer control, just the same way you have the National Agency for the Control of AIDS. Because when you have an agency that can help to monitor, to help to facilitate, to help to provide comprehensive care, and to help to manage all the institutions. And then, so recently, Senator Mao Huabungwa, sponsored a bill for the establishment of National Institute on Cancer Research and Treatment. And the bill was just signed on 31st of December by President Mohamed Buhari. So
that's good
that
news.
has become law, So it's now left for, well, it's good news, but it takes time to get these things
started.
Exactly. So we now have to advocate to see how this can enshrine in budget and let the work begin. By that way, that institute can help to mobilize funds both internationally, locally, and otherwise.
You've got some questions?
No.
All right, that's how we'll be coming a wrap on this discussion. I want to say a big thank you to the Executive Director of Project Pink Blue, in the person of Ronis Chidebe, for the good work his organization is doing, and we're hoping that now that it has been passed to law, all stakeholders will do the needful just to ensure that we save the lives of our beautiful women and men from the danger of cancer. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, discourse continues.
On Facebook, like our page and share our posts at People's TV NG. On Twitter, follow us at PTV_NG. Follow us on Instagram at PTVNG. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel, People's TV. Visit our website, www.ptvng.com. Subscribe now and join the conversation online. People's TV, preferred people station.
If you're just joining us, you've missed the first half of the very entertaining discourse we had today, looking at the Project Pink Blue, talking about cancer and ways to fight it. Right now, we've got Gloria Oji in the studio. She's the president of Abuja Breast Cancer Support Group. And very interestingly, she's a survivor of breast cancer. That makes her awesome. And we're so excited to have you in the studios. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Looking at the fact, first of all, how do you feel being a survivor of breast cancer? And just take us through.
Let me start by saying that I feel awesome.
Okay.
And I feel so grateful to God.
Okay. All right. Let's look at the Abuja Breast Cancer Support Group. What's the mandate of this group?
Okay. The group was formed. Actually, I always had a passion of having such a group or belonging to such a group, because when I was diagnosed in 2010, I discovered that I was ignorant. And when I went to the hospital, I practically knew next to nothing about cancer. The only thing I know is that cancer is a terminal illness.
Okay.
If you have it, if it's at the hand, they cut off your hand. Anywhere part of your body, they cut it off. So that was exactly just what I knew. So, but when I was diagnosed and I started the treatment at National Hospital anyway, when I went there, there's this lecture they hold between 8 and 9 before the consultants come. So when I listened to the teaching, the lecture from one of the caregivers,
Okay.
and I discovered that it's not a death sentence, and that you can live, you can survive it, and still go ahead and live a good and fulfilled life. So I discovered a lot of people don't know that. And some people didn't really take it to heart that they should be in such lectures. And when I eventually met them outside, they were at sea. They didn't know what to expect. Everybody is filled with despair, hopeless. But I found myself giving so many people that hope. So at the end of it, or when I was through with my treatment lasted for like 8 months. I started in August 2010. I wrapped up in May 2011. That's for my radiotherapy.
Okay.
So when I wrapped up, I discovered I had that passion that I wish that there will be a forum where I can mingle with cancer patients and we can talk and we can discuss and we can support each other morally, and then, boost our morale, because cancer patients generally, when you're told you have cancer, you just feel hopeless. Your life stops. Everything about you stops. So it was when eventually through Project Pink Blue, they suggested such, I was like, yes, that has been what I wanted. And right now we initially started with 8 members, but now we are having 30-something, I think 32 members.
Okay.
That's part of the support group.
Okay.
So that's just it.
Now, everybody loves to relate with a good story with a happy ending, and that is what we are hearing today. But most times when people hear cancer survivor, what makes you qualify to be a cancer survivor? Is it that from the day you finish your radiotherapy, then after that probably you go through a certain number of months or days or weeks, and then you can be certified as, oh, she's actually now a cancer survivor, 1. And then 2, you mentioned radiotherapy and not chemotherapy. What really is the difference for the sake of the audience out there?
Okay, for the first question, is a two-way thing.
Okay.
First of all, in our group, if you have cancer and you're a member of our group, we tell you you are a champion, you're a survivor. Then secondly, medically, there is always this chance that it might come back
Okay.
after you must have had it, even after your treatment. So when you're through with your treatment and 5 years, you don't have any reoccurrence,
Okay, so
technically,
5 years,
you're a
so
survivor.
5 years, okay.
Yes.
That's okay.
All right.
Then radiotherapy.
Then
Okay, yeah.
the radiotherapy and chemotherapy, there are 2 forms. In fact, they form the major part of the treatment for cancer. The chemotherapy are drugs. They administer it through drip. And it has a lot of side effects. In fact, so many people are scared of it. Yes, so many people are scared of radiotherapy. Then, chemotherapy. But radiotherapy is more like, how will I put it? It's painless anyway, but it still has its own terrible effect. I'm not a medical person, so I cannot really describe it the proper way I need to. But if I can borrow a leaf from my surgeon, he said chemotherapy is more like, the disease is on your body, it affects the whole system. But radiotherapy gathers it one place and then shoots it dead. That's the way he described it to me. So let me come from that angle, because I am not
Awesome.
a medical
Awesome.
person.
All right, let's look at, thank God for the success story, but let's look ahead on Saturday. An
Okay.
event is coming, and there'll be loads of people who might have it and not know that they could be successful like you. So can you take us through what the program intends to achieve on Saturday?
Okay, the program on Saturday is to create, it's World Cancer Day, so we are actually commemorating it with a walk. We want to create awareness. Now, we discovered that because cancer is couched in kind of mysterious light, people don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
People wish it away. People feel, don't even talk. If you talk about it, it will affect you. And therein lies the power, and that is why it kills.
All right.
You're feeling funny. You discover a lump on your breast, and you're scared. You don't want to. if I go, they may say it is cancer. And you sit back and you allow it, whether you want to wish it away or not. If it is cancer, it is cancer. And then the problem is that so many cancer patients present late. That is the problem we have in the country, in our country, Nigeria especially. And it frustrates the doctors.
Okay.
You will notice it early. You know that this thing, this is not my normal self. You noticed a lump. And instead of going to the hospital, okay, doctor, I am noticing this thing. Is there any possibility of taking it out? Or let's even know what is wrong. You say, no. I don't want it. Even when you tell somebody, why did you think about it? Reject it. Don't even go there. You know, we keep on doing that. And at the end of it, go for prayers. It should disappear. And when it doesn't disappear, you still go for more prayers. And then by the time it is bad, you go to the hospital.
All right.
So we need that awareness. The essence of that work is to create the awareness. And also there is free screening for prostate cancer, for that's for the men, then for cancer of the cervix, and also for cancer of the breast. So that work is more like enlightening people. People should come and have free. It is supposed to be done freely. Everything is free.
Are you advising young girls, ladies, mommies, everyone, or is
everyone?
Okay.
Everyone. Especially in terms of the prostate, is actually it affects mostly from 40 years and above. But you know, these days, you think it's an old person's disease. Younger people are getting it. So it does no harm. Even if you're younger and you're a guy, you want to go, just go ahead and do it. It's better. I think they say knowledge is power. When you know these things, you know how to tackle it. Then ladies, please go and check.
So where are they supposed to come on Saturday?
It's taking place on Saturday at Transcorp Hilton.
Okay, what time?
7 a.m. We'll start with the walk.
Okay.
Then after that, we'll come back to the same Transcorp Hilton, and then we'll start with the screening. There, we are partnering with so many diagnostic centers, so they will be there. We're expecting like 2,000 persons.
Wow.
So it's not as if when you come, fine, you have to be patient because it has to be as you come, you know, first come, first serve. So it's there. Avail yourself the opportunity and then get yourself screened.
Okay, there's one big issue people normally have. How confidential is it going to be? Because that's going to make people either come or not come.
It's very confidential. The diagnostic centers we are working with, they are very professional. What they do, if they discover anything, they will call you personally and then direct you on how to go about it. That is what they do. So nobody will go out there and start talking, and you may not even get your results immediately. You may have to wait. That's why they will need your details and your contacts and stuff like that. So,
all right. I don't know, Hamida, you got more questions? Okay. The final question will be to people suffering from cancer and haven't gone to the doctor. What would be your advice? And has it changed your diet or who you are in any way?
Cancer changes you.
Okay.
It does. I remember Her Excellency, Mrs. Akeredolu. She's a survivor of over 20 years. And even till now, because in one of our meetings we had to like chat up with her, and she said, even till now she's still scared it may come back. You know, that kind of a thing. So it changes you, but that doesn't stop you from living a good life. It changes your diet too. We are asked to go natural, which, as far as I'm concerned, is good, both for those that had cancer or not. So it doesn't really matter. The most important thing is that be well, live. Have a positive view in life.
Okay.
Yes. Then, well, I have to add that one because they need to know it is not cheap.
Okay. And just to not to get into trouble with the women, but are these eyelinings, Q-Tex, does he cream? Does he have any effect?
Yeah, people.
Did the doctor raise any of those suggestions?
People talked about it, but at the end of it all, I googled it and I discovered it has not been clinically proven. So people can talk, but it has not been clinically proven. But things like it could be hereditary, that's proven. Then, but you have some that just happens for no reason at all. So,
All right, I want to say a big thank you to Gloria Oji, who is the president of Abuja Breast Cancer Support Group. She's a breast cancer survivor and she's looking awesome. And like she says, she feels awesome. So what it means is that even if you're diagnosed of it, it's not a death sentence. You can still have an awesome life and go out there and contribute to the advocacy so that we can all save the human race. All right, I'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll be hosting persons, Dr. Taufik Ali from the IHV, and talking about the Institute of Human Biology of Nigeria. We'll be looking at how global funds are used to fight epidemics in Nigeria.